What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Fantasy Flex podcast from the Action Network and Fantasy Labs. I'm your host, Chris Raybon. It's NFL Week 11. As always, I'll be joined by one of the most accurate rankers in the game, Sean Koerner, momentarily. Quick reminder, all of our fantasy football content available right now over on FantasyLabs.com. Fantasy Labs NFL includes in-season rankings, waiver wire and DFS tips, and much more. Be sure to use code FLEX20, that's FLEX20, for $20 off at FantasyLabs.com/flex. In today's episode, we're going to dive into our top five at each skill position, discuss guys we're high and low on, throw out some props as well. But first, Koerner, we got to crown our week 10, week 11 is up. Week 10 cardio kings. Those are the guys that ran the most routes without a target. Koerner, who we got?
Well, tight end was Tommy Trumbull. He ran 15 routes, no targets. Not too surprising there. That's like a three-way committee right now, and Tremble already doesn't command that many targets. So, he'd be right up there with the favorites, in my opinion. But wide receiver had our official cardio king of week 10, and it was Xavier Hutchinson with 27 routes, no targets. We kind of saw the Texans use both rookies, Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel, a bit more here. So, Hutchinson didn't run as many routes and then didn't see a target. So, Hutchinson was the cardio king of week 10.
Yeah, that's he would usually be a favorite if he was a guy running like 80-90% anyway, but he's usually in the 60s. But that is kind of crazy when you think about just how much they were throwing. That he didn't even run like a full percentage of the team's route, still got to 27. But I mean, that was just a crazy fourth quarter for Davis Mills and that offense. But yeah, Xavier Hutchinson, not too surprising there. I wouldn't be surprised if we did that again this week. Quarterback, top five, week 11, Koerner, who do you like?
Yeah, my top five is Josh Allen, Drake May, Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott, and Justin Herbert.
Ooh, Drake May overtaking Lamar. I like it. Yeah. I got Lamar even lower than you. I'm looking at it. Really? I'm looking at it for the first time too. So, Josh Allen, Drake May, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, and Lamar. Yeah. So, right there with you with Drake May. We kind of talked about that. He's entering that tier of, he's got rushing upside and he's just throwing the ball really well. So, right there with you on that. Who are you high on for week 11?
Yeah, so I'm high on the guy that I gave out on the waiver pod, and it's JJ McCarthy, who I feel like I always have him, like, I don't know, outside my top 20. He's never really up there for me. But this week, you talked about your projections. You have him QB7. My raw dog projections were right around there. It was QB8. But I made some tweaks, and he's down to QB10 for me. I think I'm more comfortable with that because he has been, really inconsistent through his first four starts this year. This is year 2 for him, but it's still, technically his rookie season. But, I think he has too many weapons to write him off quite yet. He's got Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, so he could bounce back and be a solid quarterback in the second half of the season. But for fantasy purposes, he has had that rushing upside I thought he might have, where he's rushed for over 25 yards now in 3 out of 4 games, including 48 yards last week, and he has 2 rushing scores on the season. So he has that nice rushing floor to kind of help the lackluster passing production so far. But that could change this week against the Bears defense, who are allowing the second most points to quarterbacks. So I think this is a really good spot for him at home against a team that's been involved in a lot of shootouts lately. So I think JJ could get it going here. And yeah, he's inside my top 10 to open the week.
Yeah, man. QB7. Right there with you.
Love it.
Another guy inside my top 10, Jacoby Brissett, is who I'm high on. He is going up against the Niners defense. Remember, they lost Bosa, Warner. So this Walker, this defense is just decimated right now. They've given up 3 or more touchdowns to quarterbacks in 3 of their last 6 games, multiple touchdowns in 5 of their last 6. And Brissett has been throwing touchdowns to Harrison and McBride, which is really what you need to do in this Cardinals offense. Zay Jones looks like he's out for the year, so it should be more of the same. But as long as he can do that, this is a game where could be a shootout. Cardinals at home, but we've seen this Niner defense, and their offense should be able to kind of put pressure on the Cardinals defense. We've seen that, with the Niners and Mac Jones. They just keep on humming on offense. So it could be could be a divisional shootout. Usually you see lower scoring games. They did play a low scoring game the first time though, so that could reverse a little bit. But either way, I like Brissett here as a top 10 option against the Niners. And who are you on, Koerner?
I'm low on Baker Mayfield this week. Usually he's pushing my top 5. I think last week he was like my QB 5 or 6, but this week he's all the way down to QB 17 for me against the Bills. And he is coming off another solid game, 273 yards through the air, 3 touchdowns, but he isn't using his legs at all. He actually doesn't have a rush attempt in the last 3 games, which is kind of crazy. For Baker. I mean, he's not really a running quarterback, but usually you chip in 10, 15 yards more times than not. So for whatever reason, he's just not scrambling at all. This is a tougher matchup. The Bills have allowed the 4th fewest fantasy points per game to QBs, more of a run funnel defense. And I talked about it, how they might kind of lean on Sean Tucker or Rachaad White early in the game to kind of just take advantage of that, keep the Bills offense off the field a bit. Plus, Tampa Bay, they just have a lower team total facing the Bills this week. So, his touchdown upside is going to be a little bit more limited as a result. Plus, I noticed, we set up our sheet with our projected sides, spreads and totals. The total for this game was a few points lower than I was expecting. And I saw this is a game that does have, showers in the forecast. It's way too early to kind of be really factoring weather, but it seems like the market kind of is when it comes to the total. So I kind of, factored that in a little bit, but is that kind of what you're seeing with the total for this game being down like closer to 48? Is that why?
Yeah, I was initially projecting it, in the like low 50s, and then
Same.
I did see that. Now I think that the weather factors into it, and it also probably hurts the Bills even more, so like that could also make the Bucs run more, because I think the Bills, they need to run the ball. When they can't run the ball, their passing offense goes, like their whole offense just dies, because you could just kind of cover their receivers. They have to throw inside, Kincaid's out, but the Bucs are really good against the run until they face the Patriots. That was so. if there's going to be weather, now the Bills. The Bucs can kind of zone in on the run game for the Bills even more, and the Bills run defense is terrible. So
right,
like it kind of puts the Bills in a weird situation where and the Bucs in a weird situation where they'll probably have to throw a lot less, and the game will be less of a shootout, even though they'll be winning. So yeah, I think one way or another, it's bad for Baker, and it's bad for the Bucs passing game more so, and it's bad for the Bills just. Like period. So I would expect this. Is the spread still? Is it? Did it drop under 6? I think initially it was the Bills.
Yeah, I think it's still around 5. I didn't know it was at 6, but that seemed high.
It opened around 6 because I usually look at them Sunday night when I'm kind of updating the sheets. But yeah, I would expect. I wouldn't be surprised if that closes at like 4 if the total keeps dropping because I think at this point we know what the Bills are, and the Bucs can do it either way, Bucky or not. So I'm low. I think Mayfield. Let's see, Mayfield. I was surprised where he was in my sheet too. He is QB 19. So right there.
Wow, even lower.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, a couple other guys I'll mention, and this is. Wow, they're outside my top 20, which is not a usual thing. Jared Goff and Bo Nix. Goff just going to Philadelphia. Don't know if there's weather in this one yet. Let's see. It sounds like there could be weather. But either way, outdoor Goff game in Philly against a defense that just gave up 7 points to the Packers, who, say what you want about the inconsistency, but they, Green Bay was top 3 in EPA per play on offense. And, they really got shut down by the Eagles. You expect that for them kind of coming out of the bye. They usually pick up Fangio's defense a little more. And chance of rain, about 33% as we record this, with 10-mile-per-hour winds. So I know last week was an outdoor Goff game, but we kind of said, hey, this Commanders defense is terrible. We expect J-Mo to get going, all those guys. So that's what happened. Dan Campbell took over the play calling. This week, I think you see some correction to that. Like this week, this Eagles defense, anyway, is no joke. The offense might be a little joke, but defense, no joke. So Don't like Goff this week. And Bo Nix, I mean, I think it's like early in the year, we kind of talked about like he's probably not a cash game type of quarterback unless he's got like the most beautiful matchup. And I mean, even against the Raiders, who not the worst defense, but still not great. He did absolutely nothing. Now, the Broncos play the Chiefs, a defense that can kind of mix it up. So I don't trust Bo Nix here at all. He's a guy that I would look to bench outside of super deep 2 QB leagues. I think there's a chance he gets one over the top. The Chiefs do play some man coverage, which he's better against. He really doesn't see the field well against zone, but Spagnuolo is smart enough that, and we're waiting enough in the season that I would expect the Chiefs probably to mix it up, play more zone than they typically do. So just not a great spot for Nix going up against a quality defense. That's what he showed he's not really going to beat. I mean, look at played the Jets a few weeks ago and put up essentially nothing. So I don't trust Nix at all anymore.
Yeah. Do you think Dan Campbell's going to keep calling plays this week? I low-key love head coach play calling drama like Kafka. Yeah. Was it last year? I remember going down a rabbit hole. Some guy was like proving that Dable was actually calling plays. But yeah, Dan Campbell outright admitted it, and it was obvious. He's sitting there with the glasses looking at the play. But yeah, that was the first game all season. They had a plus pass rate over expected. So maybe he just wants to be a little bit more pass heavy. But do you think he's calling plays again this week?
In a game like against the Eagles, yes, I would. I mean, the fact that he took over against the Commanders and was with the Eagles on deck, yeah,
it was like a warm-up game for him.
Yeah, and by the way, if you like that kind of drama, Dan Quinn calling the defensive plays for the Commanders now.
They made that official. But yeah, I always love me some drama, but that not a good sign for Morton. Could be shit canned if that's the case. But and Monty
had calling the plays in New York.
Oh, yeah, sure. Came full circle. See, I love the drama. But yeah, Monty out snapped Gibbs.
Yeah, Gibbs outplayed Monty.
Well, that's
I mean, it's like that's if you adjust for like the amount of yards and you adjust it back to the amount of carries Gibbs would have gotten if he is like a normal running back, you would get the same snap rate as usual. But
we're watching a future Hall of Famer like in a legit timeshare. It's crazy, and I'm a big Monty fan, but it's still pretty crazy.
Yeah, no. I mean, you could kind of see that coming though. Like, it's like one way or another, Gibbs is probably just going to be a problem because it's either he's going to get more snaps because he's just better and they're struggling, or he's just going to run circles around like he did last week. It's in what should have. I mean, not a terrible spot for Monty either, but it's. I think going down a stretch, like I would have probably like to have traded Monty by now because he was balling out in the middle of the year too. So, but now you kind of gotta just stick with him, and hopefully Campbell kind of just opens it up for everyone. But against the Eagles, I gotta kind of downgrade everyone. All right, quarterback prop. What do we got?
Okay, this is a bad one. I'm gonna go. Who's gonna have more passing yards of these recent number 1 overall picks? Bryce Young against the Falcons, or Cam Ward against the Texans? I have them essentially tied. So I'll let you break the tie. Which one do you have throwing for more passing yards this week?
Cam Ward against the Texans. I didn't even look at my projections. I'm just going with him because I see a scenario where Bryce Young could be benched, or a scenario where the Panthers, if they're playing well, I think it's run game. So didn't they win a game against? Yeah, they won a game against Green Bay where Bryce Young passed like 20 times or something like that. So at least with the Texans, there's like shenanigans that could go on. You know what I mean? With like we could get another middle start, or you could get Stroud just airing it out to all these guys now, and the Titans have to come back. Titans are off a bye too, right?
Yeah.
So they're off a bye. Maybe you even get Ridley back. Who knows? But yeah, I'm gonna go Ward just because I feel like he has the higher floor, which makes him, which gives him a higher ceiling too. But
against the Texans, though, brutal
matchup. But
yeah, you're right. No chance he gets like benched in the way Bryce will. But so you think I agree, but like that could be coming soon, right? Is the Bryce Young experiment like pretty much
I don't know.
wrap
Because,
that
I
up?
mean, the Falcons are an experiment in themselves, so the Panthers could easily win this game. And what are they? What would that be, like 6-5 or something? Like what are they right now? They're making a playoff hunt. Let's see,
Yeah,
Panthers.
thanks to Rico Dowdle. And their defense isn't that bad. So
Yeah, they are 5-5, right? So the Falcons are 3-6. They win this game. Not only do they improve to 6-5, but they essentially knock the Falcons like out of the
even more
hunt.
reason to shift to Dalton, though, if you ask me. You know?
Right. I mean, yeah. No, like it's possible, but either way, even with all that being said, I have Cam Ward just raw projection about 5 yards ahead anyway. So, and
Makes
that's against
sense.
Houston. So yeah, gotta roll with Ward here.
Thought that'd be a fun, shitty, quarterback.
Definitely shitty.
Although they either one could resurface on a new team and become an MVP candidate, like Darnold and Daniel Jones. We've seen it happen.
Yeah. Not whoever the Vikings would go, I guess. And not Cousins, but
yeah. Oh, yeah, true.
All right, running back top 5. Who are we looking at?
Let's see. No Jonathan Taylor this week, so it's wide open up top. I got Christian McCaffrey and Devon Achane super close to being number 1 for me, but then I got Bijan, Josh Jacobs, and Rico Dowdle.
Ooh, I think. Well, actually, it's probably not going to surprise you because I do see you're high on him, but I got a pretty surprising name in for my top 5. So I got McCaffrey, Achane, Bijan, Josh Jacobs, and Jaylen Warren.
Oh, yeah.
RE5. And he's getting the carries, but I know you're high on him, so you can kind of jump right into that.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be the other running back, but I'm high on Jaylen Warren. I thought I was high on him. He's my RB11. Could be a little bit higher after.
No, yeah.
Could be higher after, Mike Tomlin was saying we just need to give more touches, which, I figured to be the case, but it's nice to hear it from Tomlin specifically. But we saw, last week he's the workhorse back right now. Gainwell saw a ton of work on like passing downs, but he didn't see a single rush attempt. They got, Caleb Johnson a couple carries. He turned that into 3 yards. So they tried to get the other guys involved, but I think this is Jaylen Warren's backfield, and this is just a phenomenal spot for him at home against the Bengals, who it sounds like they're going to be without Trey Hendrickson again, which is a huge blow to an already shitty defense, losing your best player.
Defense. They're just without defense. That's what you just have to say. They're without defense.
They're without defense. So they've allowed the most fantasy points a game to running backs by nearly 6 points. 6 points more than the Giants, who are a bad run defense. So this is just a smash spot. I'll probably join you by having Warren very close, if not inside my top 5. My RB6 is actually it's Javonte Williams. So pretty wild top 10 this week. But the other running back I'm high on that I thought you might have had in your top 5 is Chase Brown playing the Steelers. So this is a game where we could have like 2 top 5 backs, in my opinion, because Brown's, production has been capped recently with Fantasy Flex favorite Samaje Perine just having a bigger role in the run game and the passing game. The past few weeks, Brown's been able to overcome that. He's playing a lot better. But Perine suffered like a high ankle sprain during the last game before the bye. It sounds like he's probably going to miss this week as well. And once, Perine went down, they basically just used Taj Brooks on like a couple snaps because, Chase Brown was exhausted on a longer drive. So Brown could see, 90% plus snap rate again this week. And we saw he had like 8 catches last game. It's just going to give him a much higher floor ceiling combo against the Steelers this week. So again, if he's going to see that kind of playing time, he's inside my top 10 this week and could be even higher once, Perine's officially ruled out. But yeah, I think Chase Brown and Warren are like top 10 options this week.
Yeah. I mean, if I didn't rule out Perine, but yeah, if I did, I just know better than rule him out. He never goes away. That's why he's like our thorn in our side.
Right.
Assuming he's out. That's always I've always kind of looked out for that. That's why I was high on Brown coming into the year. He's just a guy that they're fine giving like a ton of snaps to. And he's sitting here, as bad of a season as he's had, he's still what is he, RB21 in half PPR. So he could make a run over the second half, especially if he's gonna be without competition in that backfield. Because you don't think they have much trust in Brooks, which is that's what I've seen too. Now they're coming out of the bye. Maybe they got him up to speed, but probably not because he's a rookie. Probably just like went and partied during the bye. So I mean, why not? But yeah, Brown. Brown is he ran for 108 against the Steelers. That was his best rushing game. But they love to throw him the ball, and they threw him the ball 8 times. Well, they threw him the ball 14 times in the game before the bye against Chicago. 8 catches, 75 yards. And guess what? Brown, long-term, might be a league winner. Joe Burrow coming back week 13. So that should increase the 3 touchdowns that he scored on a year, the touchdown equity. So, man, yeah, Brown is a guy that I think he's trending up.
Two of those touchdowns were with Flacco under center. Does he want Burrow back? Because, Flacco doesn't mind checking down. Again, 14 targets. How did he only have 8 catches? I need to go back and see how many receptions he probably should have with that amount of targets. But
Flacco is accurate, 60% of the time.
Yeah.
Now, but Burrow, remember, they have that, like, off-target script. They were working on that in the offseason even. Like, they're just like the off-target stuff, like the off-script stuff where Burrow kind of moving around. But they call screens for him, too. So, like, he's had an 8-catch game and a 7-catch game and a 4-catch game this year. Never had fewer than 2. So, yeah, I think like this, he could be a league winner down the stretch.
Yep.
The Bengals are going to be fighting to stay in it, which seems like they are every year. Yeah, I'm high on, and this again is assuming we don't get news on Trey Benson, which we have not yet. Amari DeMercado, guy I talked about on the waiver pod. I also, RJ Harvey is another guy that's kind of trending up right now. As we just learned that Dobbins probably headed to IR. So those 2 guys, but with DeMercado, it's just the mix of the explosive plays, the fact that he's got a high floor because you're gonna see him in like the must pass 2-minute situations most of the time, even if he doesn't lead the backfield, which kind of swung back to Bam Knight, but now Bam Knight's also on the injury report. So I think DeMercado, ever since that bonehead play, he's kind of been on this little redemption arc, and they've been riding with it. So like him against the Niners in a game where there could be some points. Usually the division games kind of like, you would think they're correlated, but a lot of times they're like the opposite of each other. So the fact that there was a low scoring first matchup actually gives me some confidence that this will be a little bit higher scoring, but also the Niners defense just decimated in the front 7. So that helps DeMercado as well. But yeah, if Trey Benson, if there's word that he's going to come back this week, I would scratch that, because I think Benson would be the favorite to kind of be the lead back, but you never know. If there's like 3 guys with the Cardinals that can kind of do things, then you kind of got to be careful. But with Carter is still on the practice squad, so that tells me that they are kind of over him. I think he only got a couple of snaps in that last game. But any thoughts on that? I mean, how are you projecting that Cardinal back? Because it is kind of interesting. I could see people kind of going a different way, but for me, it's just like whatever I do, DeMercado still pops.
Yeah, I think he's like you said, he kind of has like a high floor ceiling, where he's going to be kind of the pass catching back, but he's also been very efficient whenever he has been like a runner. So this is a spot where Knight's banged up. I think even if Benson returns to practice, he might not return to action this week. But Knight might miss, and I'm projecting Knight playing right now, and I still have DeMercado as like a low end RB3 flex. So if Knight's out, which is very possible, he could be more of a low end RB2 for me. I think they trust him more. I don't know what the hell's going on with Michael Carter. They like cut him, re-signed him, practice squad, now backup. They obviously prefer DeMercado. And yeah, the redemption arc after he scored, I mean, Gannon went up and like slapped him in the back of the head. So I think he probably feels bad for that, kind of giving him a second chance because Gannon himself fucked up. So DeMercado could have a solid game this week if Benson's still out and Knight's out this week.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And it's I guess Benson maybe a little further than we thought. I would have thought he would have been able to practice by now, but we'll see. We'll see as the week progresses. These things can kind of change quickly. But like I know in LA, it looks like I think we were expecting Hampton maybe to be back soon. I think he was working on the side, but it sounds like he might be out another week or two too. So some situations to monitor. But yeah, want to get ahead of these guys that kind of are in that questionable lane now, just because I think it helps people. And I would say Woody Marks too. Woody Marks is another guy who he's trending up. That Titans defense. I know they were better against Vidal, but still, like he's kind of separated a little bit from Chubb. So that's another one that kind of I would expect people like his rank to increase as the week progresses. So yeah, Woody Marks, another guy I'm high on. Who are you low on? This is interesting.
Yeah, I'm low on Derrick Henry to open the week facing the Browns. The Browns have, been a really tough matchup for running backs this year. They've allowed the fourth fewest fantasy points per game to backs. But, if there's anybody that can overcome that, it's Derrick Henry. But I still have him just outside my top 12 to start the week. He's my RB 13. Because you have to remember, he's never really going to provide you with, much receiving work to kind of overcome a tougher matchup. So his, floor is a little bit lower in these tougher spots. He's probably going to need Lamar to set him up, for some goal line scores here this week. But we saw Keaton Mitchell mix in a lot more last week, and he looked really good to me. I think they're going to be more. Yeah, he looks really good. I mean, he would start on a handful of teams, in my opinion. But I think just him being healthy and looking, spry, I think that the Ravens will be fine giving him more work to kind of keep Henry fresh down the stretch here. Certainly they're going to need him. But in a game against the Browns, if they do get up, I think we'll see Mitchell mix in a little bit more. And Mitchell could take a run of the house, wiping out a drive where now Henry could have seen some work. So I think Mitchell's presence, we haven't really seen that with Henry since the Vrabel days with Dion Lewis, where we could see a guy, siphon a few carries away from him. So having said that, he could still score 2 touchdowns this week. I'm well aware of that. So you're not benching him, but I have lower expectations.
Isn't Justice Hill the goal line back?
Oh, is he? Did he have a?
Didn't he get like a start touchdown last week? Yeah, I think he did.
Oh, he did.
One carry for a teddy.
Well, that's interesting. Well, the one we never have to worry about Lamar stealing touchdowns from Derrick Henry on the goal line.
Yeah, I think I did. I hope I did. I think I took every year. Oh, you might have. I think I still bet it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But people don't realize that Lamar only scores from like 50 yards out, never, goal line. But yeah. Another reason. See, there you go.
Justice Hill, 1 yard touchdown for Justice Hill last week.
What was the score? Like, why wasn't Henry in? What was going on?
I don't remember because it was
these are the things that I kind of
in the third quarter. I'm trying to remember I don't remember. I was watching it on Red Zone. I haven't rewatched it. I'm trying to.
Henry had a equipment malfunction and he was like fixing it on the sideline. Like
usually these are second drive of the third quarter, so it was a little early for the Justice Hill just like drive. So I don't know because Henry didn't get a carry that whole drive, so I got to go back and watch it.
These are things I figure out.
He was back in the next drive though. So
drive, yeah. Usually these things I figure out like in my Friday, Saturday projection but that's good to know. Probably a fluky thing, but again, you got Justice Hill and you have Mitchell now kind of mixing in a little bit more than I expected last week. So, again, you're still playing him if you have him, just lowering expectations a tad here this week.
And I believe, Patrick Ricard also got a carry for the first time since 2022.
Yeah, wow.
Got a first down.
He does mix in a few catches. I don't think he has a target yet because he missed the first 7 games, but he's going to mix in the catch or two down the road.
Yeah. He averaged about 0.2 receptions. Or he had 0.2 receptions per game last year, 0.3. Yeah, so he's about a half reception a game kind of guy, but he hasn't carried. He got a short yardage carry last week, and so did Hill. So that I don't remember what was going on live, if that was just they're trying to mix it up and because they were keyed on Henry or what. But I got to go back and watch that. But either way, interesting for Henry if he's not going to get 100% of those.
Right.
Not good. I'm low on Jordan Mason. Ended up being low on him last week too, and I remember it was kind of like your voice in my head echoing that, like, yeah, if Aaron Jones is healthy, like they're gonna give him work. And as I was going through the week, I'm like, okay, Aaron Jones looks healthy, and Jordan Mason, they were kind of phasing him out a little bit, so ended up being low on him last week. I'm low on him again here, going up against the Bears, and I think it's worth talking about because the Bears defense bad. But at this point, like, it looks like Jones is kind of commanding that backfield. So you're really relying on Mason for, a short touchdown or something like that at this point, because he's not really going to be involved in the passing game, especially with CJ Ham back. And then you have like Scott if there's a blowout. And so it's like Mason really doesn't have that many outs to getting involved in the pass game. He was good against the Bears early in the year. That's the one thing he does have going for him. But I don't know. Any thoughts on Mason? Because I know you were high on Jones.
Oh yeah, no.
Last week,
I'm off. Yeah, I'm off the Mason train because I don't know what happened, but they just, as soon as Aaron Jones is back, it was that Thursday night game against the Chargers, I believe. He was the starter. Yep. He was the lead back, and then the week after that, he was like the clear lead back, and then he got hurt. But if you looked at his usage before that, it was just Jonathan Taylor like. And last week, they gave Aaron Jones the goal line carry. He scored that 4-yard touchdown on the ground. So it's like, is Jordan Mason even the short yardage back at this point, or goal line back, more importantly? I don't know. It doesn't look like it. And Aaron Jones is playing with the shoulder injury. So yeah, I'm with you. I'm way lower on Mason than I was, a few weeks ago. They're just clearly, and Aaron Jones has looked great. So I don't think they're going to go away from that. So yeah, I bumped up Aaron Jones quite a bit in my projections, and on the flip side, that just means Jordan Mason's going to get less work. So yeah, I'm low on him as well.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of Jones probably looks better, and they are, they've lost some tough games this year, but they're still kind of hanging around there. So it's kind of do or die time for them. So I would guess Mason, maybe if there's like a blowout win, he would get like those carries, but. Yeah, I think Jones is probably going to – and Jones tends to, like, turn it on late in the year. I remember a couple years ago with the Packers, they, started giving him a lot more work down the stretch. So they're probably saving him for this. So, yeah, don't know what to do with Mason at this point. But I don't think you can start him even as, like, a low-end flex at this point. I would kind of, look other directions, because there's certain, like, committee backfields where I think, like, that second back might be more valuable in a spot like this. Like, even whoever the Cardinals second back is probably would be a better bet. Somebody like Chuba, Algier, there's a bunch of guys that I think could give you more than Mason just because of the floor. All right, running back prop. Let's go James Cook. He's so freaking hard to project every week. I never know.
I know, that's why he was my prop last week. He's gonna break
like 1,000. Yeah, exactly. oh yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. I don't even. Yeah. I didn't realize that, but yeah, I got to go back to him because it's just so difficult to project him every week, because it's like, is this gonna be a week he beats up even though a good run defense is gonna be a week he just does nothing. Right. We know there's weather involved. So, and then does he catch passes? So I'm gonna go total. Let's go total yards, because I think the pass catching or lack of has been interesting, but he got a little more involved last week. Let's go 99.5 scrimmage yards for James Cook. Does he get 100 rushing and receiving against the Bucs in a game that the total's dropping? So probably going to be played a little closer to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that's a good one, because, I was saying last week, like, I was ready to take his under even like 1.5 receptions, and he had 5 catches. So
yep.
I think they might have to do that too against the Bucs, because they have a really good run defense, but they can be prone to backs like in the screen game.
Because they blitz so much.
Yeah. Oh man, that's tough. And yeah, like you said, he's just gonna bust an 80-yard touchdown run anyway.
His median is 118, but he's had 6 games with 102 or more, and the other 3 were like 87, 77, 48.
So what was your number again?
My number was 100 flat, because I think the rushing is in question, like 99.5. So does he get to 100 flat?
I'm gonna take under there, but I think that's a good prop, because again, if you're combining it, you don't really need to do a median. can really just add the rushing and receiving yards. But I'm closer to like 95. But like you said, it's like his yards per carry. I have it like around 4.5 here because it's a tough matchup. But he's always pretty efficient. So yeah, he could bust a couple of long ones and still average 5.5 yards a pop. So yeah, that's a really good line. But I'll go under here. I think the rain probably helps him. They're going to be more run heavy. Someone might slip, but
he's great in the snow. He's great in the weather. Remember, he had that game against the Niners in the snow, I think it was, and he was just like,
oh yeah,
So that's another reason why I'm like, I'm scared no matter what I project. I have him at 4.7 yards per carry. But yeah, I have him around 105 to scrimmage. But I don't know. I don't feel great about it. I feel great about it.
I do respect the Bucs run defense, so I think he'll have to get a few receptions here, and I still think this is a spot. Last week I had Josh Allen under 6.5 rush attempts. I think this is a game he's probably going to pull it down and run a bit more, which could come at the expense of Cook's reception. So that's one of the few reasons I think I'll go with the under here.
Yeah, it's a weird dynamic because the Bills are going to be tough to project this because they are also talking about with Allen, like he's saying he needs to go down the field more. So, but then again, the Bucs blitz so much and it's going to be raining. So does he just say fuck it and chuck it, or does he pull it down? Do you even get to pull it down against the blitz? Like, do they just get cooking the screen? This game I have to really kind of dig deep into. But yeah, there's a lot of kind of like volatility surrounding it with Cook that worries me a little bit. But I think I'm happy that you chose the under because Cook could have over by the second quarter if he does go over. So yeah, I think I feel a little more comfortable, but it's anyone's guess here. Wide receiver, top five.
Top five is, man, what a top five. I got Jamar Chase, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Puka Nacua number 4. It's hard to have him ahead of anybody, but Puka number 4 and Drake London is in my top 5 as well.
Yeah, so obligatory JSN number 1. We're not fucking around with this. Obligatory Puka number 2. We're not fucking around with that either. And then Chase, Brown, London. So same top 5, but gotta roll with these two in. Is it indoors? It's the Rams are home, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Indoors. JSN and Puka.
It might
not
be
moving from there.
It might be raining here in LA, but for the weirdest reason, we have a dome here where weather really. I guess some wind can come through that side of SoFi, but it's not impacting anything. But yeah, it's in LA.
I want to say I don't know if it was the last one of the last times I was at SoFi. There was like a rain delay. Because some like water leaked in. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that can happen. It
can happen. There's like a sliver of non-domed roof, but yeah, I'm not moving.
And it's below sea level. That's got to hurt kicking, right? It's like below sea level. People don't realize that.
Cardi thinks so, yeah.
When you walk in, you're like at the top. That was the craziest thing when I went there the first time.
Oh yeah, no, great stadium. Probably my favorite one.
Oh yeah. Love that.
All right. Who are you high on at receiver?
Well, I'm high on Khalil Shakir. He's my wide receiver 20 to open the week against the Bucs. We keep talking about this matchup. But part of why I'm high on him is, Dalton Kincaid's apparently week to week, so he's probably closer to doubtful. I think you said he's like already out. I haven't seen anything yet, but I'm assuming Kincaid's out this week. So I think, if you look at, the Bucs blitz a ton, like you mentioned, Allen's top 2 targets are essentially Kincaid and Shakir. So I think, that it's just going to be more targets for Shakir. They use cover 3 a ton. Kincaid and Shakir, who Allen targets the most against that. So I just think it's a really good spot for Shakir. And if it's raining, they probably just want to get the ball in someone's hands. And I think you had mentioned his like Madden rating for after the catch ability should be like maxed out at 100. Just amazing after the catch. So I think they could scheme up a lot of easier targets for him here and let him do some work after the catch. And this defense is kind of perfect for that type of game plan. So I think he's just a high floor, ceiling play this week. I was kind of scared last week for his like ceiling because I thought, the Bills would blow out the Dolphins. Silly me, of course, but I think this is a spot. He has a higher floor and ceiling combo, especially if Kincaid's out. And similar type of player in that aspect as Deebo Samuel for me against the Dolphins this week with Terry McLaurin already ruled out. Deebo himself has been banged up, but we've seen his routes run rate now go up 3 straight games. So I think he's probably closer to 100% now. And he's seeing, a 23% target rate over the last 3. And we saw Traylon Burks pop up, and he was looking really good for them. Kind of a nice find. The former first-round pick was finally healthy, and he was, commanding a target share, but he like broke his finger or something. So now he's out. So it's going to be, Deebo Samuel and Chosen Anderson out there, Robbie Chosen. So I think Deebo's going to see a ton of targets this week. And if, Chris Rodriguez Jr.'s out with the shoulder injury, we could see Deebo mix in, with a couple carries as well. So I just think Deebo's in like a really high floor situation here against the Dolphins. So he opens up as my wide receiver 21 this week. When he's someone, the past few Tuesdays, we didn't know what the hell to do with the Commanders. But as of now, I just think Deebo's a lock to be like a solid wide receiver 2 option this week.
I still don't know what to do with the Commanders, but yeah, Deebo,
right.
Deebo is, he's high for me too. He's like, right borderline top 20. Because you also got McCaffrey out, Noah Brown. He's probably not coming back. And with Burks out, I mean, because it was hard to kind of project they would kind of call up guys like Burks and Anderson and who would get more playing time than like Moore and Jalen Lane. I think dropped to like 20-something% last week too. But now I just have like Chosen, Moore, and Lane all like for the same route rate, and then Deebo a lot higher. So yeah, that's how I'm kind of projecting that. We saw Sinot, the tight end, get more involved. Sinnott
in Washington scoring his first touchdown of the season. He still needs Zach Ertz to miss time before he might break out, but he could be the next Dallas Goedert, Trey McBride type. My opinion.
I'm going to project him for more heavy personnel, but that helps a guy like when you're the number 1 receiver again, running routes with heavy personnel. That actually helps you because there's more likely to be like blockers and just 4 eligibles in a route and things like that. So yeah, I like Deebo as well. I'm high on Trey Tucker. I already talked about him on the waiver pod, but I think he's the top 25 receiver this week against Dallas. I know Tyler Lockett got some targets, but Tucker's running around 100% of the dropbacks, and this is the Dallas Cowboys defense we're talking about. So it only takes like one big play with Tucker, but there's also, because he's the number 1 receiver, and he's running like 100% routes participation versus Bowers, who's been capped at about around 85%. So you could like Tucker, he could easily be that number 1 receiver for the Raiders in any given week, even though Bowers has been I guess he was that 1 week, and then last week nothing happened with anyone. But yeah, it's love Tucker this week against the Cowboys, who have given up the second most, I should say. The Rams have actually given up the most points to wide receivers. Cowboys giving up the second most. So like him and a couple other guys, Tez Johnson, love him this week. If the weather is acting up, maybe lower him a little bit, but I still like him as that number 2 receiver for the Bucs in a game that's still a reasonably high total game. And then Jalen Waddle as well. He's been coming through with deep catches week in, week out. And now you're going up against the Commanders. They just put Amos on IR, right? Or he's out now too, right? So who is covering? I mean, no one was covering, but who's covering anybody and they have to travel overseas. So like this could be, if the Dolphins have shown like when they have a chance to game plan and kind of set things up, like they can play some good ball. So like they've done these overseas trips a couple times already. I expect them to be ready, but like the Commanders going overseas with no defense, I mean, this could be an odd game. We could wake up and Waddle has like 250 receiving yards. Yeah. So give me some Waddle this week.
Payne suspended. Luvu got his suspension. He turned it into like just like a fine or something, right? So he's not suspended, but yeah, Trey Amos on IR. Yeah. Yep. I forgot that this is another week where we're going to have a 6:30 a.m. game. Can't wait.
All year, man. It's just been like one or two reprieves like early, and then the week we don't. It's like Thanksgiving, so it's just more work for us as like because we just got to get everything out. So either way,
yeah,
it's been all year. I mean, good for the NFL though. They've kind of stretched this into. I'm guessing they're going for like an international game every week at some point soon because
I don't mind it
deeper and deeper into the year. Yeah, it's fun.
I actually. Yeah, it's like having a game to watch in the morning kind of helps. It really wakes me up because I usually have action on it. But I prefer it to be spread out than like 15 games at the same time. I know people like that because it's chaos, but if you're like me, I like to just like enjoy a couple games at a time. So I actually don't mind having it more spread out and have the ridiculous 6:30 a.m. start time here.
As long as they don't screw up the late window, because sometimes there's like a shitty late window at like 2 games, and like there's just it's just like it's like
this week.
They're like, oh well, yeah, I think it's this. It's like Ravens Browns and yeah. Well, no, you had Chiefs Broncos.
The past week when we had 3 games, all 3 games are 44-22 halfway through the third quarter.
I like those kind of games too, because but yes. I mean, these are more the entertaining 3, but yes, like 3 games in the late window. I think I would like at least 4 because I don't want to hear Hanson telling me that like when this game ends, I got to switch over to like the local station to get the remainder of that game. And like it's like give me 4. But we got Chiefs Broncos and we got Seahawks Rams. So even though we got 4 divisional games, but still, I would still say a solid late window this week. And then Lions, Eagles Sunday night, Boys Raiders Monday night. So yeah, good. I think for the most part, the schedule makers have done well this year. I would say like there hasn't been too many schedule complaints. I feel like so. Yeah. Who are you low on at wide receiver?
I'm low on Courtland Sutton this week, who's down to wide receiver 32 for me. Now he's coming off a dud, 3 catches, 24 yards. So I'm sure he's going to have some squeaky wheel type situation where Sean Payton could be scheming him up more targets. But Bo Nix still has to like actually throw him the ball, catchable balls, which remains to be seen. But I just think this has more to do with Troy Franklin just trending up. I was actually pointing this out on Action Island where he's kind of operating as the top dog the past few weeks, where he's seeing a higher target rate now than Sutton for 5 straight games. And now he's seeing a similar route run rate. Certainly that had to do with like Marvin Mims being out, but still, like when Franklin's out there, he's seeing more targets than Sutton. But, Marvin Mims could return this week, which just could make it more crowded for Sutton as well when it comes to target rate. So I'm like more of a wide receiver 32 right now, making him kind of a fringe sit start where typically he's just a solid wide receiver 2 for me. But now I'm a little bit more concerned about his floor right now. So he's probably a sit in leagues that you only start 2 wide receivers. But this has been kind of a concerning trend I noticed with just Troy Franklin emerging in the offense has kind of hurt Sutton. So yeah, he's just outside my top 30 against the Chiefs this week.
Marvin Hims, he makes projections hard. Yep. I think
especially with J.K. Dobbins out, right?
Yeah,
I mean, he might see some runs. So
this is the Troy Franklin podcast, though, because I remember even in the offseason I was talking about how Franklin kind of emerged as like he was kind of making the rotation hard to project with Mims and Vele, and then they traded Vele, but Pat Bryant was still hanging around. But it seemed like Franklin was going to be a guy, and then you've been talking up Franklin on the waiver pod, and then last week on the touchdown show, like you usually give out the guy who scores the first touchdown. I give out Franklin who scored the last touchdown because it was like 7 for like 2 hours of game time or something like that. So yeah, we love Troy Franklin here. Sutton, I think he has like the potential to get like a big play if the Chiefs continue to play man. But the consistency of all these Broncos is just shot. I mean, even Dobbins, for as good as he's been, if he doesn't get a touchdown, like they stop using him in the passing game. So it's kind of like one of those he's giving you 20 touches, but what is he really giving you kind of situations? I think he had like 18, 19, 20 touches last week, and what did he come up with? Like less than 10 fantasy points. So it's Broncos are just frustrating. But they're winning, so we might have to project them deep into the playoffs at this rate. I'm low on a guy I keep talking about. He's trending down, and it happened yet again. Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen is just losing some of those slot snaps to Trey Harris. Well, he's losing some wide receiver snaps to Trey Harris. Now, the one thing is Gadsden is hurt. So is Gadsden? Have you heard any update on him? I still have him projected questionable, so like less routes. But
yeah, I just have him in. He's more day to day. We didn't get like bad news. There was, a chance he had like a patella fracture because he got hit right on the kneecap. But it sounds more just like a bruise. He's probably in a ton of pain. Maybe he's not 100% this week, but that's something I kind of figure out later in the week. But as of now, it does sound like he's gonna play.
Okay, so yeah, if it's him in, and maybe Allen jumps up a couple of spots, but either way, I'm at wide receiver 40 right now for Keenan Allen, and that's I'm pointing out since over these last 4 weeks, the route rate for Allen, who early in the year was up around 75, 80%. It's been 75 in week 7, 50% in week 8, 55% in week 9, 60% in week 10. So hovering right in that 50 to 60% range for now 3 straight weeks, that is going to, be about as sticky as you're going to get if you're kind of looking back and adding, factoring in the recent trends. So I don't really know what to do with him here. Now, if Gadsden is out, I'll probably bump him up a little bit because I think there's a chance he could get, back up into that 70% range, or at least get a couple, like a target more per game, which would bump him up. But right now, he's out. Like, I wouldn't start him as a top 3 wide receiver. Right? He's only a flex in deep leagues, and you usually don't want to use like fringe wide receivers who aren't deep threats as flex options either. So he's in like a purgatory at the moment for me in Jacksonville in a game where let's see the weather in that one, because sometimes you get like humidity. No, looks like some wind there, but looks like the weather should be fine. But either way, don't like Keenan. Just been trying to down with the usage, and you could always see Harris kind of emerge more too. So that's another thing kind of keeping me, because we didn't know what they were going to do with all these receivers, and it seems like Allen's the guy who catching the short end of the stick a little bit with QJ healthy. So yeah, well on him. Entering week 11, wide receiver prop. That's you, Koerner.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Marvin Harrison Jr. receiving yards. I know we did this a couple weeks ago, and he was facing the Cowboys, and I was like, I think Jacoby Brissett's going to help him out big time. But I think at that time we didn't know who was starting. But now we know Jacoby Brissett is the starting quarterback. They are facing the Niners. What are you projecting for Marvin Harrison Jr.? I got this at 57.5.
Well, Zay Jones out probably hurts him because
more Dortch, right?
Yeah, just somebody who can get more targets. What you said, 57.5?
57.5.
I'll go over. That's a good line. I have his median right around there, but probably closer to 60. So yeah, I'll go over. He bumped back up to a 95% route rate last week. Did catch that touchdown late. Didn't do much, but this Niner defense again, I just think you can move the ball them up and down the field. I mean, the Rams had no issue, and Harrison and McBride are really the 2 guys in this passing game that they focus on, and Brissett does a better job of getting them the ball. So yeah. Give me the over. I don't want to be under on Harrison. I think I took over in the last time too, right?
Well, you set it at 60.5, and I think I took over. I think I took over, and I said, God, I hope Jacoby's the quarterback here. It was against the Cowboys, so it was like he was very tough to project because we didn't know who was starting, but they were facing the Cowboys, so if you can't go off in that game, you can't go off ever. But yeah, that was the game he had he cleared it in the first quarter. He ended up with 7 catches, 96 yards, and a touchdown. So, and then another touchdown last week. So Jacoby's been excellent for Marv and McBride's fantasy value.
Yeah, he just because he doesn't just stand there in the red zone and wait until there's like 8 seconds have gone by so he can start scrambling without anybody yelling at him. He just like
Right.
throws the football into traffic, which for better or worse, it helps the receivers. All right, tight end top 5, week 11.
I got Brock Bowers, Trey McBride, George Kittle, Jake Ferguson, and Aronde Gadsden.
Why is Kyle Pitts here? Yeah, I got McBride, Bowers, Kittle, Ferguson, and Kyle Pitts. Feel like I need to change Kyle Pitts. I don't even know why he's popping like this. Let me see. Oh, Panthers are terrible against tight ends.
There you go.
I mean, I guess that's fine because the thing about Pitts I do like now is that they're playing more, just one tight end on the field type situation with the 2 backs, which helps Pitts a little bit. But yeah, still feel a little shaky about that. May have to change. Tough matchup for Laporta too, though. Yeah, so I don't know what I'm gonna do there, but yeah, like the other 4, Gadsden would be my number 5, just if assuming he's healthy, but I have him kind of like questionable 75% ish routes run. Who are you high on?
Yeah, I'm high on K. Dutton, who is my tight end 7 this week, which is pretty high for him. We joke about him. He's kind of like the cardio king, like mascot, right? Because he's typically out there 80 to 90% of Baker's dropbacks, but doesn't really see that many targets. But with Godwin out, with Mike Evans out, he's averaged a 24% target rate over the last 4 games. So I think right now, as long as this, as long as Godwin's out, I think he's going to be, a top 10 tight end. And we saw that last year. Whenever he has the chance to be a top 2, top 3 target, he usually produces. Baker does like to lean on him. So yeah, he opens up this week inside my top 7.
Yeah, I'm high on Jake Ferguson. I already mentioned him both in both of our top 5s, and really like him against a team like the Raiders, just because Raiders play zone at the highest rate in the league. That's going to help tight ends. Ferguson top 5 in yardage against zone. He's been good against man too, but against zone, I think that just raises his floor in this offense. So love him in this spot. Who are you low on at tight end?
I'm low on Hunter Henry. He's down in my tight end 15, but despite seeing just really steady usage all season, really, right around a 75% routes run rate most weeks, he's just not seeing the targets that you'd want from your tight end 1. He's only had a target rate of over 15% once in the last 7 games. And I think part of that's due to just this wide receiver room trending up. I thought early in the season, Drake May probably had the most chemistry with Hunter Henry. He was probably the more consistent guy in the passing room. But now with like Diggs having more chemistry, Pop Douglas popping off, Mac Hollins now having really good chemistry with Drake May, we've kind of seen Henry fall off. So this is a week where I think the Patriots should win pretty easily. Lean on the run a bit more. So, Henry's the guy I'm much, much lower on than most weeks, but especially just due to the recent trend of him not seeing many targets. Now, he could have like a squeaky wheel situation, but I think they're just content winning here. So I'm not expecting that. So Henry, I'm much lower on. So he's just outside my top 15.
Yeah, that makes sense. He's just he's a hard guy. He's my tight end 16. Just a hard guy to like trust week to week, but it's really just all about Drake May here. Yeah, I'm low on Evan Ingram again. I feel like I say this every week, but
he's already dead. God,
yeah,
stop killing him when he's down.
I think it's still going to tempt people because he's what is it, a 78% routes run rate last week. That could go down a little bit as Adkins gets healthier, or Mims comes back or whatnot. Now, I still have him projected around 75%, and he's still outside my top 15. He's kind of doing what we expected coming into the year. He's getting a target rate, but he's not really seeing many difference-making receptions, not seeing many explosives, and not scoring touchdowns. And that's exactly the guy he's been for the last few years. 8.1 yards in a reception. Again, 1 touchdown in 9 games. Again. So, low on Evan Ingram this week. tight end.
And
prop.
Troutman has more receptions the last 2 weeks. We called that.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's what you'd get when you mess with Sean Payton's tight ends. It's just kind of we've seen this movie before. Let's go to the prop. Let's go with Greg Dulcich.
Okay.
Greg Dulcich.
Love it.
Against this Commanders defense. It was interesting that they dropped Koerner. So Dulcich was up to 75% routes last week. Julian Hill was out, but I mean, they clearly feel comfortable with Dulcich as the lead pass catching tight end, which could mean a monster game out of nowhere at any point for this team, especially going against a bad D. So let's go with receiving yards for Dulcich at 22.5.
Over. I got to bet on my boy here. Dollar store TJ Hawkinson. And I'm projecting Julian Hill to play. Yeah, I'm projecting Julian Hill to play, so he might not. And Darren Waller sounds like he might return at some point this season. So I think just in the meantime, they got to just treat Dulcich like Darren Waller, just having an extra big bodied like wide receiver out there. So yeah, I was actually disappointed. He only had like 22 yards last week. I almost took his prop. They had it like 20.5. I was like, that's probably fair. But perfect spot to bet on him. He finished with 22. But I think, this is a spot where he could go off and surprise a lot of people. He won't surprise me. So I like the line, but I'm going to take the over here.
Yeah, I think that's a smart play because I think I just think they trust him if they were willing to cut Koerner because Connor's been a mainstay in that offense. So yeah. All right, that is going to do it for NFL Week 11 player projections episode here on the Fantasy Flex. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. We got our waivers up already out. We have our DFS episode coming up tomorrow, and Friday we'll have the touchdown show on the Action Network podcast with our guy Joe Gallant. So be sure to subscribe to that too. On X, be sure to check out Playbook if you're into betting. It will build bet slips for you at the book of your choice, save you some time. Sean is on X at @the_oddsmaker. I'm at Chris Raybon. We're at those same handles on the Action app. Don't forget Fantasy Labs for all of our projections, and you can use code FLEX20 for 20 off. Until next time, let's get this money.